Am I the a-hole for telling my wife I didn't like how her birth went? My 28M wife, 31F, was a surrogate for her brother and his husband. She gave birth 4 months ago. My wife and I do not have any children. She had a daughter in her early 20s with her ex who unfortunately passed in a car accident. I was not around for my wife's first pregnancy, and I do not know how well she took it. When she approached me with the idea, I did not like it. Birth is dangerous, and everyone says the side effects are awful. Plus, we live in a red state, and with recent laws, I'd be worried about her potentially being denied life-saving care. We had a lot of arguments and discussions, and she spent a lot of time reassuring me that she'd be completely fine. She'd be heavily monitored as a surrogate, and she'd be treated extremely well. That was what pushed me to agree. From what I've heard, pregnancy is very taxing, and I figured she'd need a lot of help and support. She refused it all. She didn't want me to come to appointments, didn't want me to hold her hair back when she vomited. She didn't want any kind of emotional or physical comfort. Her pregnancy was hell. Nothing like the beautiful, easy experience she told me it would be. She had all of the symptoms, and she had them bad. She had many complications and issues, and had to be hospitalized at many points. And throughout this entire time, she refused my help. She went into labor early. My BILs were out of town, and she didn't even want me in the delivery room. She almost died giving birth. My wife almost died, and I couldn't even be in there holding her hand and telling her I loved her. I spent 17 hours in the waiting room listening to her scream in pain. She had to have an emergency C-section and lost a lot of blood. She ended up in the ICU for a week, and then another month in the general hospital. When she could come home, she was still needing a lot of help. She was still in extremely rough shape, and I was fully expecting to need to help her with cleaning stitches, changing clothes, bathing, getting out of bed, etc. No, she had arranged for a home health aide to come and assist her for several hours during the day. Any help I offered, she refused. Anything I went ahead and did, she got angry. I love her, but spending 11 months being completely iced out was so sad and depressing. I felt useless. My wife just went through the biggest thing she could ever go through, and she didn't need me at all. She didn't even want me around for emotional support. I also just feel lied to. I know pregnancy and birth are completely unpredictable, and she had no control, but my wife sold me this idea that it was going to be the easiest thing she's done. I told her I was terrified for her life, and that I didn't want her to do it, and she told me that I was being ridiculous because of all the monitoring and safety measures that are put in place for surrogates. She pushed that idea so hard, and it was the only reason I agreed. A few days ago, when I told my wife a bit of how I was feeling, she called me an insensitive a-hole because why would I want to support her if I didn't want her to be a surrogate in the first place? Despite me repeatedly asking and begging her to let me help and support her. Am I the a-hole? Edit. I don't want my wife to apologize or anything. I just really needed to tell her how I was feeling. Everyone who has kids has always talked about how much of a team effort the pregnancy and birthing part were, and this seems like it's not normal. No, this isn't our baby, but I'm still her partner. I don't understand why I'd be so iced out of the experience. My wife has never enjoyed being taken care of, but this is a whole new insane level. Also, for anyone concerned, baby is perfectly fine and with my BILs.